Devin, thank you for joining us. Seattle Public Schools. How did it happen?
About 4 years ago or so, we had realized that we had a serious lack of visibility in the network. So we started exploring user experience tools to monitor the experience from a user perspective. And then when it came time to replace our legacy end-of-life wireless LAN, we really wanted to focus on that. Went through an RFP process, and Juniper's solution was heavily focused on that user experience, and that's what we wanted. It was really robust and polished compared to some of the other solutions that we compared it against, and it's been working out really well.
And the rest is history. Thank you very much.
It was just so easy that and I'm very lazy, so I like simple. I like easy.
Devin, what's been your
I
experience?
just wanted to touch on that part where he was talking about a few APs having issues. One of my favorite features that we've got to experience, we did have a couple minor issues with APs in the field, but there's an ability where the APs will talk to neighbors via Bluetooth and report issues about what's going on with an AP that'll come up. And that way I could go, well, it's got an IP address, it's not getting an IP address, it's on, everything seems fine, what's going on? It saved a tremendous amount of time on stuff like that when we were deploying it.
Devin, what's been the operational impact for you? You're a school district, lean IT.
I mean, we're a small team, and we've had almost no issues that I could think of, really. I mean, it's really been impressive so far. One of the big things that I'm most happy about is that recently we just finished up a lot of the assessments that were going on in the district for students, standardized testing, things like that. And we had a lot of issues prior to COVID with some of that going on, and there were 0 reports, ultimately. There were things that people said were network issues, and we were able to quickly go, no, that's somebody else, not me.
Right. One of the things Tom Wilburn takes pride in, and he talks about, is we really eliminate support tickets and user complaints, right? The ServiceNow team, Sajeev and Satish here, they've taught us this race to 0. You've experienced that. You've seen support tickets go out of your system after this.
Yeah.
Brad, what's been your experience?
I could talk about this all day, so I'll just make two quick points. One is something John said earlier. You know, we want to free up time to do other things. Like, there's a lot of monotonous things you have to do with some vendors. Like, I don't want to have to worry about, does this access, why are these 10 access points on code that, it's not compliant with where we need to be, or they didn't get the config changes. So with Mist, that's one big piece. Never worry about that. You set that at the restaurant level. You say, okay, any access point that's going in here is going to be running this code. And if once it hits that restaurant, bang, it gets the code, and that's the end of it. Config changes are also, super easy. You're not pushing changes to devices, and now that we have. But I'll say that the biggest thing that I get a lot of feedback from our help desk support, the difference between our old vendor and new vendor, we're huge cloud people, love the cloud stuff, right? But when you get a lot of devices in the cloud, and I was kind of worried about this with Mist, but you can put 10 access points in, and it's snappy and speedy, and you click, and it's just working. And our old vendor, it was very slow. We're hitting these limitations. And now, we have almost 20,000 APs in the Mist dashboard, and it's just as fast as it was day one, where you're clicking around. So I would say that is just huge, to be able to have your help support people go and not have to worry about latency with the dashboard. So.
But then we were fully Mist. We did testing with, we use Pearson for our standards of learning testing. That's online. We have caching servers internally for the tests, but everything's pushed up outside. They have a tool that allows you to test the amount of connections you should be able to do with your wireless. And we a gym that we set up for them to do during SOLs the year before, we put in 5 additional access points into a gym, so that we had 6 total APs in there to handle 150 to 175 kids testing at one time with Chromebooks. And it worked. It did work, but we couldn't rely on it for what was there. This year they ran the test on it, and with 2 access points, they were able to successfully test 1,000 connections across 2 access points for SOL testing. And my first year ever as a network guy here, we had no network problems for our standards of learning testing. 0.
Can you kind of explain a little bit about what your actual testing and vetting process was, in that school to make you feel confident that Mist really was the solution that you wanted to move forward with for the rest of your district?
our Wi-Fi setup isn't that complex. It's pretty run-of-the-mill as far as what we're doing with Wi-Fi, except that we have so many sites and devices. That's the thing that makes it tough to manage. So Mist had no problem meeting all of those. And so for me, it was really just the proof in the pudding of let's get them in the school and see that this system is easier to manage, is not requiring a lot of tedium in configuring and readjusting and troubleshooting and all that kind of stuff.
Obviously with Mist, it's a complete 180. You get help on the phone right away. They're interested in what can I do? How can I help you? It's not prove it's your problem, prove it's my problem before I'll help you. And I'll tell you what, that goes 100 miles.